Viewer discretion is advised. Your fave will be criticized.
That's Jan.
That's Chris.
And welcome to CCTV, the non-stop pop show.
And welcome to this edition of Pop Off, the ultimate music showdown featuring STAYC, aespa, and IVE.
If you're wondering who we are, Shan and I have a huge range of experience in the music industry, from performing on stage to working at record labels. So we have a lot of insight into this crazy music industry. And you can now join us in some awesome discussions on Patreon at patreon.com/cctvpops. Big shout out to our crew members, Lisette, Lily, and Emily.
So if you're new here, Pop Off is a segment here on CCTV where we take some tracks, compare the songs, videos, and performances, and pick our favorites in each category, then choose an ultimate winner. But this is meant for pure fun, so please don't take it seriously. Actually, come join us in the rankings. And before we get started, make sure to hit that follow or subscribe button for more content from us.
So today we are taking a look at the first 3 title tracks released by 3 of K-pop's biggest 4th gen girl groups right now. We've chosen STAYC, aespa, and IVE, and they debuted either in 2020 or 2021 and have all had multiple music show wins.
Yes, indeed. So, let's get ready to rumble.
Round 1.
So for the first round, we're going to discuss the debut title track for each group.
Player 1.
And first in the ring is STAYC with So Bad, which was done by Black Eyed Pilsung and Jungkook. So, what do you think of the song, So Bad?
Okay. Now, this song had me by my wig. Can't lie. First of all, I love the name that they have, STAYC. Like I don't know, think about it just doesn't feel like, hey, there's X amount of group members. Let's call it number and girls. You know, I like that. And also it's just cool. I really don't know what the STAYC thing means. I haven't looked into that really, but I just like this. Something just felt very 90s about the name STAYC. But the way it's spelled is also very fun. And I love that STAYC Girls is going down catchphrase.
Yes.
Like, come on, that is fire. The song sounds like a video game. And I think what's really interesting about the production is that it follows like the cell phone noises, and it has like the Boost Mobile bleep like in it. It's very interesting. And I think that the balance between the deep and high voices is like perfect. I mean, when you think about how girl groups usually sound, it's like really super duper high, and you're just like, especially with the groups like Rocket Punch, you'll hear something and it's like, why is this song so high? Or everyone's trying to sound really cute, but then they have Jay, and she's a rapper that you hear, and you're like, what? And the leader is also a rapper, a singer, and a rapper. So it has like this really deep voice, and then you have the chorus where Seon and Yoon sing, and it's high, and it's like, oh, that's where the crescendo is supposed to happen, in this chorus. And then the bridge, you have the other girls kind of just carry it really nicely. It doesn't feel like anyone in this group is there just to be there. Everyone plays a role, and everyone really fits their parts, and no one sounds exactly like the other person. I appreciate that, you know? Like, I'm impressed, especially since Black Eyed Pilsung stepped away from doing Twice stuff, which is kind of sad for me because I liked what he did with them. But for him to make his own group with his own company says a lot, and to do this well with the first song, for sure. What about you?
First off, the vocals, wow. I think the dynamic in this group is perfect. A lot of different tones in there, and they are recognizable, which is great, and that's very rare, honestly, now in K-pop. So I definitely appreciate that. And you know, it's not been a secret that I'm not a huge Twice fan. So honestly, I didn't have very high expectations when they debuted, but this fully exceeded it. I absolutely love this song. I still listen to it all the time. I just think it's very sparkly, but it's not too cute. And I think that part of that is because some of the vocals are quite strong as well. And they're just hooked. The entire song is completely full of hooks. Like, it's not just the chorus. Every single part is great. So yeah, this song really stands out a lot for sure.
Oh yeah. And I mean, for the song to be about needing someone so bad, it punches for sure. And even in the video, like, something about them they don't look like they're being really needy. They just look like really cool, cute girls with random concepts, honestly. But I mean, you know me, I always try to figure out what's going on in the videos. And if you're new
Hmm.
here, definitely watch a lot of our Is It Boppin', because I will theorize to the death of me. Okay.
Hmm.
This video was definitely a mix of a lot of trendy things. Like prom girls, alien girls, emojis. Like it was super random, but I think what really stands out were like the glitter scenes with the silver hair accessories and and Yoon's pigtails. Every time she flipped her hair, oh, just so bad. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
popped up. I was like, oh my god! I think that's what really stood out. Like things like that, and I can honestly say I like the song more than the video, but that's that's only because it's super random, and I just appreciate that they weren't being like typical girl group where it's like, oh my god, we're pining over a man, but also there's just it's so random, so it doesn't really fit. And yeah.
Yeah,
What
it
about
just
you?
felt like a bunch of ideas just kind of all thrown together, like you
Yeah.
said. Like it's like, okay, they're in school and then they're in the desert and then they're in the forest. And then it was just a lot. And it doesn't do the song justice, honestly. I
No.
think some of the colors are cool in it. Like the desert scene is very random, but at least it looks cool. Same with
Yeah.
that forest room with the prism light,
Oh
shining
yeah.
down on them. Like it's a pretty
Yes.
scene, but there's nothing about this video that makes me want to go back to it. But
Yeah.
the dance
Right.
routine that mention that you just did, where the hair flip into the
Chest pop.
yeah, the chest pop thing. Love that. Chest pops are always fun, and it
Hmm.
fits the song. And first
Yes.
off, I watched a couple live performances. I have to say, Stacy
Hmm.
tends to sing live, which
Yes,
I
they do.
very much appreciate. And it's been like
Hmm.
that from the beginning, which is awesome. But yeah, I think,
Yes.
the dance is good. The musicality is good. Nothing overly complicated, kind of very classic girl group dances, a lot of hips, some sassy moments.
Hmm.
There's a cool moment, I think it's in the second chorus, when three are
Yeah.
doing the regular choreo and then the other three are actually just doing little dynamics in between them. So just very pleasing visually.
Yes.
But yeah, what did you think of the performance and choreography?
When I think about these performances, I think about how like when they're dancing, they're trying to be really pretty, but sometimes they actually, when they know they have to hit a note, you can see how serious their face gets. Like especially with Yoon, her nostrils will start flaring. I know it's a weird thing to notice, but that's how you can tell someone's like really actually singing. She's trying to get air any way she can get it. She knows she has to smile, so she'll, yeah, her
Mm,
nostrils will start flaring. I'm like, girl, go off,
it's a
go
high
off.
note.
It is, and her and
Mm,
Siyun really have high pitches, so it's nice to kind of see them actually try to get the note out, and even if they don't get the note all the way in full chest, they'll use their blend, and I appreciate it. But yeah, I think some of the more like standout moments are the Stacy. Like as soon as you see these girls, you see their little S and their C with their hands,
mhm.
things like that stand out. The little intro head peeking thing, I thought that was cute. But yeah, nothing really stands out about it except that they were really solid from the jump. Like
Yeah.
honestly, super
Mhm.
solid.
Player 2.
Up next in the ring is aespa with Black Mamba, which was produced by Omega, Yu Young Jin, Sean Lopez, Scott Chesick, Jordy LaForge, and I'm surprised there's no other names here because this song is one of SM's Frankenstein songs, but not
Mhm.
as much as I was expecting. I don't know. I mean, what do you think about this group? I mean, it was their first girl group after Red Velvet, after FX, after Sonyoshide. So it's like,
Mhm.
what did you have in mind?
So it's interesting because I thought, at least from when I first got into K-pop, I was very much like, okay, I'm an SM stan, right? I love all the second gen groups. Like FX and Shiny are probably still
Right.
my favorite groups, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then NCT happened. I was like, okay, like sure, you know?
Hmm.
And so aespa, I had very high expectations and high hopes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this didn't really do it for me. And I still don't fully get it, to be very honest. I
Okay.
find this song very underwhelming. I was very disappointed by it when I first heard it. Just the chorus just feels so, I don't know, not lazy, but just kind of like boring. Mamba. I don't know. I mean,
Oh,
that's
yo,
that's,
whoa,
that's
whoa.
fine as a hook. It's catchy, but it's not fun to listen to for me. Um,
Right.
And then, of course, this is
Right.
when the whole Kwangya thing started. And if you've listened to previous
Mm.
episodes, you know how much neither of us are really fans of this whole Kwangya universe situation. And of course, all the lyrics and stuff are about Kwangya, and it introduces all these weird words that they've come up with for the lore. And so I'm just not, I have no interest in learning this lore, you know? So that doesn't grab me. Nothing melodically grabs me. Nothing
Right.
about this song makes me ever want to listen to it. So what do you think?
Sorry. You know, it's so funny. I wrote that in my notes too. I was just like, you know what? I'm an SM. Like, I like their sound.
Mhm.
But I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I think what really is interesting for me is that the song is cool in the intro. Like, I like the bassy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that part. It's just like, ooh, what's happening, you know? The bassy lead is definitely fire for me. And I think the simple percussion in the beginning is nice. I like that the verse instrumental kind of changes, but like you said, after a while, it's just like, that's what you came up with? You know, like especially that the post chorus, "Dun da 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 da, ay, yeah, 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 yeah." Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think what really delivers it is like, you know, Karina's dun 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 cha da 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 cha da da
Mhm.
da 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 da. That's what saves it. The verses kind of give it a little bit of a oomph, but it's a little underwhelming. And like you said, this song is like a conduit by which Lee Suman has introduced his idea. I hate Wanya. Oh, I've said it so many times. But again, it just stinks that the song is a little like anemic because you have a bridge that is so vocally satisfying. I mean, with Ning
Mhm.
Ning's like last vocal slide into that chorus, the energy kind of builds nicely. And I feel like if the chorus were bigger, then maybe I would have been more blown away. I mean, like, it's about a villain. It's about really taking on whoever it is that you're fighting, Black Mamba and, you know, all this other crap that you're talking about. Honestly, if this is what you're fighting with, you're gonna lose the battle. You're gonna lose. Um
Oh my god. Can I just say though, also, just to note, I don't want to
Mhm.
completely sound like a hater. I'm not taking
Yeah.
away from the talent of these girls. I think they're
Oh,
very
yeah.
talented, really good
Right.
vocals, and then we'll get into the visuals and the videos and stuff shortly. But yeah, I'm not taking that away from them. It's not, clearly they're
Right,
not the
right,
ones who creatively came up with this song.
right.
So they're just the vessels for it. So it's more, I kind of
Mhm.
just feel bad for them because if I was an SM trainee and they gave me this as their debut song, I would not be happy about it.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I think that's the thing that we're both like going for is like they are delivering, but just everything
Mhm.
else is kind of. But I will say that video,
Mhm.
honey, they from going from like random trainees and whatnot, they did their thing, you know. I think the anticipation was definitely there. It's like, who's this girl and who's that girl? And we had all these different teasers. We had Giselle rapping, Ning Ning singing, Winter kind of was singing, but not really. Like, it was all very mysterious. So when you did hear these voices, it was very reminiscent of like SES's Bada or like a TVXQ kind of rap. So it's interesting that they're vocally they sound older, like old gen, second gen, first gen, second gen, excuse me. But sonically, they're going to this fourth gen, which is also seen in the video.
Mhm.
Because now you have all this technological quanginess and the digital editing and oh my god, what do you think about this video? Because you already know what I'm going to say and what I'm
Mhm.
about to start with, so I'm gonna let you kick us off with the
Yes,
video.
yes. Well, so first off, I think while they were teasing the group is when we were introduced to this whole AI avatar
Yes,
situation. So them
yes.
not really showing up till the end, I was very confused because it's kind of like you made this whole
Mm,
deal about them having these AI counterparts,
yeah,
and they don't really play much of a
yeah.
role in this video, so I don't get the point of any of that.
Mm.
But the video itself has some really cool scenes in it. Like, honestly, if you're gonna go for the whole superhero alien lore
Mhm.
thing, then you better give me some
Yeah,
Avatar level planet
yeah,
moments, right? And I
yeah.
liked the mix of like the indoor moments and the school stuff to really set them up as like the
Right.
magical girls, you know, like
Girls,
that they're
yes,
very
yes.
classic kind of Asian anime trope, right?
Yes.
I appreciated that. I liked that weird little break in the middle with the witch. I don't fully understand what's happening, but it's interesting,
Right.
and
Right.
visually interesting for sure. And
Yes.
yeah, I do appreciate that there is a clear story that runs through their videos, and they do reference these later on in the videos.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if you're gonna go for the whole Kwangya thing, then the video is where you better give me everything, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You know what? Oh God, I'm sorry. I have the video rolling as you were talking, and I saw the snake's body. I'm just gonna say right now, I hate snakes. I
Mhm.
hate snakes. I will never like them. I try, I just can't get with it. But considering that the song is about a black mamba,
Mhm.
God, it's interesting to have all this beautiful iridescence in the video, you know, technological, like millennial things, these prismatic colors, the sunset with this pink and everything like that, and then this dark black snake kind of slithering through the flowers and whatnot.
Mhm.
I don't like snakes, but your girl can appreciate a good aesthetic.
Mhm.
She could appreciate it. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, had you not seen the lead up into this, like the prologue videos, and you just watch this video, you might be hecka confused. But if you watched it, you could really appreciate, like you were saying, the stories and whatnot. And I think um you know, Karina is the one that gets infected with Black Mamba. I mean, I think of Black Lady or Dark Lady from Sailor Moon. Like she's
Yes,
the one
yes.
that's kind of like infected by the dark moon. You know what I'm saying? Like so it's
Mhm.
interesting in that sense. Um but yeah, I mean, as the story is going along, I'm learning a little bit more, but oh God, it stinks that they're tethered to the storyline, you know? I do love the transitions in the video, the glides and the colors that melt and everything like that. It's definitely well thought out. And I think overall, like it helps add to the performance as well because then you have like the dancers in the video wearing like darker clothes or just being like the body of a snake. Which brings us to our choreography section, and and
Mhm.
I've got to say everything was cute up until the it just felt like it was I don't
Yeah.
know what that is. I don't have an alternative right now in my mind. So Chris, what kind of alternative would you have choreographed? I know this is completely off script, but
I'm no longer a choreographer, so I would just hire someone else to think of something else. Um, you know what, though? It's SM. I expect great choreo. Overall, it was great
Yeah.
choreo. I agree that
Yes.
I is the only part that I don't like. However, it's
Yeah.
memorable,
Mhm.
so if that's what you're going
Yes.
for, it works.
Mhm.
I think
Yes.
that whole kind of floor, when their hands are on
Oh
the floor and their
yeah.
hips and go in the air. Love
Yeah.
that. That's iconic. That was memorable from right from the start, you know? So there
Yes.
are some really great moments in here, and they're
Mhm.
great dancers. You know, there's a
They
good balance of
are.
super hard hitting moments, smoother
Mhm.
moments, just more performance based stuff. The way SM tends to clean their girl groups, at least,
Mm. Mhm.
they tend to pull back on the sharpness of things to make things
Yes.
cleaner. But the four of
Yes.
them have a good dynamic and they balance it all pretty well, I think. So I
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
honestly, even though I don't love their songs, spoiler,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna like the next two either. But
Don't
I do enjoy
spoil.
watching them perform. Like when I just watched SM Town
Yeah.
recently, when the new one that they did, I didn't skip any of the
Mhm.
performances. You know, like I still enjoy watching them perform.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so kudos to Kyle, I think, right? And I don't know if other
Yes.
people were involved. Kyle
Mhm.
Hanagami, the choreographer. But
Yes.
yeah, I enjoy watching them perform, and they killed it. So
I, I agree. I think
yeah.
your points are very valid. I'm just gonna just go for the costuming and their performances.
Mm.
I think they look like ice skaters in some of their costumes, which is completely fine. I mean, and a lot of the set design was very consistent in the live performances with who they are as characters in this whole like lore of Kwangya. Like you can see their symbols in this one like Inkigayo performance I really liked. So they all have symbols and I appreciated that. They look like RPG game characters. And I think if anyone plays any kind of RPG game, Genshin Impact or even the one I'm playing now, Dustlight, like they don't wear basic clothes. They go hard. But the
Mhm.
girls just were very sparkly, so it gave a little bit ice skater. But honey, these little fairies can dance. Okay, they were giving it. And again, just want to shout out that last chorus after the bridge with the arm swing and the smacking it. They were giving it their all in that last one. And I think this was one of the performances where in the video and on stage, they gave the most face. That brings us to our last contestant.
Player 3.
The last in the ring is IVE with 11, which was done by Lauren Aquilina, Alon, Ryan June, Lost Boy, and So Ji Oh man.
Yeah.
IVE.
Yeah.
First off,
Yeah.
the song is so
Yeah.
cool. Like honestly, the first
Yeah.
time I heard it, I think you actually showed it to me. Like the first time I heard it,
Oh,
I didn't
yeah,
even,
that's
I didn't even
right.
hear of this release. And the
Oh.
second I heard that little slowdown, the da-da-da-da-da into the chorus,
Mhm.
I was already like,
Mhm.
that is cool. You know, that's very
Yeah.
interesting, and that's again very memorable. The hook is so good. It's so simple. The counting, you know.
Yes.
So kudos to those writers. I do love the Middle
Mhm.
Eastern influence in this as well. The
Mhm.
percussion in particular, it really does, like, especially when you listen to
Yeah.
it kind of more immersively, it really does kind of go permeate like through your body a little bit, which is cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very glad that it wasn't too cute, because when I think I saw a picture of them as a group, I was kind of like,
Mhm.
oh, they're going to be a really cutesy group. So I appreciate that it didn't go
Mm.
that route. However, vocally, they
Right.
do sing in a cutesy tone. So I find
Oh.
it interesting. It seems even throughout these next couple tracks as well, they do kind of tend to sing that way as a vocal production choice, you know, the more kind of
Mhm.
nasally, kind of like cutesy kind of thing. But the
Yeah.
song is so cool and kind of understated that then that
Yeah.
balance is actually pretty interesting. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
cool choice for sure. I enjoy this song.
You know, I agree with you. I think what brought me to this song is that I'm a Starship, not a stan, but when you think about Starship, people don't, I was speaking to a coworker today about like IVE,
Mhm.
and she mentioned like she's like, what company are they with? I said, she goes, they're from like some new goo company. I'm like, no, that's Sistar, that's Monster X. She goes, what? That's Starship? I said, yeah. So
Mm.
it's interesting to hear what Starship has done before with like Sistar, and then with Monster X, and then even with Gravity. It's just like, where else could they have gone? And then you hear IVE and it's like, oh, interesting. I think that's what made me send it to you. When I heard that pre-hook, I was like, yo, Chris, tell me this isn't a fire ass pre-hook. Like, I don't think I said that, but that's
Mhm.
the first thought. I was like, I know he's gonna be like, because I was like,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think like what you said about the Middle Eastern thing is being really cool. It's true. And I think what makes them different, what set them apart, was how minimalistic this was, but also how distant and melancholic this song sounds in certain parts, like the
Mhm.
so it sounds mysterious, it sounds sweet, and it has a nice structure for it to be so understated. It's really classy, and it gets opulent when the choruses come in. Even the bridges are really nice too. It's just whisper like, "Don't say now." And I
Mhm.
think because they're young, they do sing like, very cutely. But I remember watching, I think the Lauren, she had released like acoustic version of the demo that she wrote, and she
Mm.
has that singer songwriter like, make me feel.
Ah.
She sang it like that. So I mean, you have these little girls who are like, 15, 14, and going up to like 19. It almost becomes super duper cute. But like you said, it does balance out really nice. And I think that kind of anti-drop in the pre is definitely what's made them stand out amongst all the girl groups that came out.
Mhm.
That very strange anti-drop of a pre-hook was like, interesting. And I think what I also like is that they don't give you the full chorus the first time around.
Oh, yes.
They give it to you the second time. You're like, oh. And then the third one, Unji, I think it is her name, she belts like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So again, you're still building, and they have two solid vocalists. They have Liz and Unji. They can actually belt pretty well. And I think what they did with the group is pretty good considering how young one of them is. I think she was like 14 at the
Oh,
time.
wow.
And the
Okay.
people are like, please don't make them too like sensual,
Mm.
which is not what happened in the video. So I can say like watching the video, did you feel like, oh my God, I'm watching, like I feel like creepy watching these little girls
No,
dance,
not
or
at
like,
all.
right?
No. I think
Right.
honestly, the first thought I had when I heard the Middle Eastern thing, I was like, oh no,
Mm.
please tell me this won't have a lot of cultural appropriation in it,
Yeah.
especially after what just happened with like Make a Wish, like NCT, right?
Yeah.
That similar kind of
Yeah.
issues kind of came up. But luckily, personally, I think the references are quite reasonable. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there were any huge controversies, right, with any of this.
Not that I saw.
Okay, so
Not that
that's
I
good.
saw. Like,
But honestly, just from that first shot with the pyramid formation and the eye choreo,
mhm.
oh man, it's so good. Just really
Yeah.
cool dynamic scenes. Just the angles that things were shot in were really really cool.
Mhm.
I've definitely gone back to watch this music video multiple
Yeah.
times, and I'm
Yes.
very impressed by these members. Like a lot of them are really good in front of the camera,
Yeah.
really dynamic facials, and they're on, which is really
Yes.
cool. And also, what are they actually on top of when they're doing the dance parts? Because it looks almost like a
Oh,
giant book, or like I don't really
you
know
know,
what that is, but yeah, it was
I
cool.
got you. I
Okay,
got you. Don't even worry.
okay,
You know, here I am with my tin hat that's
great.
it's turning into a platinum hat right now. I'm getting really good at this, I think. I don't know. But you're right. I think what made this video like not awkward was the fact that they realized that this is more agrabah influence than it is like Middle Eastern, right? You have like a
Hmm.
vase or some type of lantern. You have the floating scarf. You have them dancing in little eyelets, like eye shapes, which reminds me of like Egyptian Eye of Horus or Eye of I can't remember the other god, but the
Hmm.
eyes. But it's not the actual shape, so it doesn't look like a hieroglyphic. It just looks like abstract art. And I think the thing that they're dancing on, if I'm not mistaken, it's meant to be like they're dancing on top of the structure that they were inside of, because it has
Oh,
that same kind of like kooky kind of structural, like the windows. I could again,
yes.
I could be reaching, I could be scratching my back right now, but from what I saw, I was like the angle from what they were dancing on. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. It makes me feel like I'm like watching a bunch of like Egyptian Korean goddesses like try to seduce, but not really seduce because they're saying that the person makes them feel really good. But it seems like in each scene, each girl kind of incorporates like a not a power, but they have their distinct rooms. Like I think Unji's in a room. Watch me say her name wrong. I'll be so upset. Unjin? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. The leader is in a room where something's floating behind her. One of the girls are in another room where, like I said, with the eye, they're standing right next to the sun, so you're thinking Osiris. So it's very like influenced as opposed to being like oh, here we go, bring
Hmm.
out the bindies, not the bindies, bring out the scarves and all the other things that are just very like ugh. But yeah, I think what they're dancing on is like this huge structure of what they
Okay,
were in.
love that.
Oh yeah, you're like not genies, but it's definitely something like you're unlocking something because there's levels and depth.
Hmm.
So yes, that's my theory of the video. I also wanted to say they look so beautiful. I just don't understand why that whole pot fell on Ray's face. It's like dun, 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 dun. Like, come on. I guess they unlock the powers of the goddesses or whatever. Like, I'm trying to figure, I don't know. But it's definitely interesting to see how much money was spent on this video.
Mm.
And shout out to the blue glove and the white suits. Talk about just simple but perfect. Like it's iconic. Like I can think about this video and think about those blue gloves. So
Mm.
kudos.
Hmm. Yes. So for the performance and choreography, again, I mentioned that pyramid eye thing. That was a
Mm-hmm.
thing on TikTok for a while, right? Because I saw people that don't listen to K-pop
Yes.
doing it, and I was like, "What's happening?"
Yes.
But yeah, that part alone is iconic. But yeah, the choreo is really good. The musicality is just awesome in it. And I actually did have a
Mm-hmm.
question from
Yeah.
someone about what musicality actually means.
Oh,
So for
nice. Okay.
dancers, I think you have to think of dance as like the visual interpretation of a song. So I think
Mm-hmm.
musicality for me is how much it matches the song, right? So for
Yes.
example, if they're singing very delicately, then the move should
Mm-hmm.
also be delicate to match that. If there's a really hard hitting beat, if they hit that beat really hard, then it shows that it's like perfect for the song. Is that how you
Right,
kind of
right.
view musicality as well?
I was talking about this with another dancer.
Hmm.
who acts and stuff like that, and she can hear little beats like the bass and something, so she'll hit the bass line. You're like, oh, I didn't hear that, so that makes her musicality even better because she'll hear something. So, tagging off what you're saying, it's that, and also, if you think about them going da da, they're hitting those certain beats that you maybe didn't hear, or like the little belly dancing motion. You can 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5. There's little moments like that. So I think it's the choreography, the dynamics, and also hearing and moving to things that aren't so forward in your face. So it's a combination of
Mm.
many things. Why someone be like, y'all don't know what y'all talking about in the comments.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I was talking to someone else about a different group's choreography, and they were
Yeah.
saying that it was really hard to learn because one move they'll be hitting the beat, and then one move they'll be hitting the way the vocal sings, and then one move they're hitting like the guitar, you know? So it's
Yes.
interesting, but when you're able to hear all those different dynamics in a song and choreograph to all those different moments,
Yes.
that's what makes the choreography fit the song perfectly.
Yes.
So yeah.
This is that for sure. I learned like the first 2 weeks. What, this dance is tough. I was like, oh,
Mm.
it's gonna be easy. No, it switches between, like you said, beat, vocals, the cannons in this dance, the peel offs, the diagonal wave thing in the second verse,
Yes.
the pictures, and the second coast chorus that adds onto the urgency of the song and the buildup with the sways are very hypnotizing. The apple bite for, heaven, like everything is
Mm.
so well thought out. I did some research, and Starship does work quite frequently with Free Mind, and the girls of Free Mind had Snake Charmer in their mind when they made this dance. A lot of the
Mm.
choreography got switched, but some of the hands are like snakes coming out of the basket and the belly dancing thing. So again, a lot of thought went into this, and it's like it's as hypnotizing as it sounds, it looks, and that's what musicality is. It's
Yes.
taking the concept, taking the movements, and just going above and beyond and making someone go, "Oh my God, I see it."
Mm.
Oh,
Yes, and you mentioned the facials, like with the bite, and then the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
yes,
You know that like that little moment too. Like I
yes.
love that there are facials that are choreographed in because that almost
Mm-hmm.
forces them to perform more
Yes,
because they have to make
yes.
other faces other than a cute smile. You know,
Oh my
which
God,
tends to be the
yes,
go-to, right, for girl groups especially. But there just tends to be
yes,
people who tend to be blank faced as well
yes.
in K-pop when they perform. And
Mm,
so forcing them to do things that aren't just the typical smirk,
you're
I really
so
appreciate
right.
that. Yeah.
That's their thing. Like, how many comments I was sitting the eye closing. It's like, you're so right. You're
Hmm.
so go off, go off. That being said, though, since this is a pop off,
Mm.
who's your winner? Who's your winner?
Okay, this is really hard. This took me a
Yeah.
long time to think about it.
Oh my God,
But
I'm
I
scared.
have to give it to STAYC because I love So Bad. I
Mm,
think it's so good. Like I said, I still listen to it all the time. So as
mhm.
much as I love 11,
Yes.
I have to give this round to STAYC. How about you?
Okay. Oh my God. Can I tell you, I was having a little bit of a struggle with this too. I'm going to preface this by saying that these groups are good for different reasons,
Yeah.
and that this decision was not made lightly. And although I love my babies, Stacey, I'm sorry, no. 11 did it for me.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. They got me.
Good choice. Good choice. All right, so moving on to round 2, we're going to talk about their second title tracks.
Round 2.
Yes. And we have player 1, Stacy, with ASAP,
Mm.
produced by Black Eyed Peas song, Jonggun.
Mhm.
And oh, that's it. Oh, just the two of them. Look at that, SM. You see what happens when you just have two people. Right? I'm teasing. Let me stop acting like, them having a song camp didn't produce Sherlock and other things like that. So
Mm.
anyway, by the way, check out our Shiny 101 if you have not. It was a
Mm.
whole bunch of fun. But yeah, so ASAP. This is an interesting one. All right, so I'm gonna get right into it. I have to say that ASAP was not my favorite when I first heard it, only because we had come from this very punchy, very confident sounding So Bad to jump right into Cute with ASAP.
Mm.
Like I mentally disconnected, and I might say at this point I kind of regret being so like what's called playing hard to get with this song because it actually did grow on me, and I do hear certain like similarities between this song and TT, especially in the beginning. I can snap the TT snaps
Mm.
the way I dun, 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 ay, ay, and then dun, 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 dun. It's for me like timing wise and the way it comes in just reminded me of Twice, but not in a bad way. I do like that it is bright and sweet sounding, but it's not too sweet. Like, I think JJ was a good intro to have because she has such a deep voice. First of all, she stands out. Second of all, she's super cute. And third of all, it grounds that sweet production and gives it a little bit more of a coolness. So
Mhm.
again, it just definitely helps to have someone with a lower tone, someone who's like a fake alto in a group because it's like maybe she's an alto, maybe she is, but it's nice to have that person there because they definitely root the song, ground the song a little bit more. And I think that by the time the hook comes in, it's cute, but it makes you kind of like want to jig a little bit. Like
Mhm.
again, at first I didn't like it because I was like, not that being the pre-hook, the post-hook, like ASAP, dun, dun,
Mhm.
dun, woo. I thought that
Yeah.
was so boring. I'm like, you can't come from so bad to this, but
Yeah.
it ended up working and growing on me. Is it like one of my favorite songs by them? No. But again, I do appreciate that they're not singing about anything too mature and it still kind of balances the age range of this group. And I think the drums in the song also make it come across as cooler. The rap
Mhm.
sections help. They're cool. Sometimes the English is a little bit cringy.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not a poser.
Mhm.
It makes you sound like a bit of a poser. But again, you know, they're young, so it's okay. That part was just like, "Ugh, okay,
Yeah.
whatever."
Yeah.
Maybe when they get older, no, they're not gonna grow into. You can't grow into a line like that. But yeah, by the time that the bridge comes in, it does slow down a little bit, and I think that it is a solid girl pop song. I just feel like it should have just had a little bit more oomph after the last bridge. That's it.
Yeah, I'll agree. I don't think it's as good as So Bad, but also has grown on me over time.
Yeah.
It is catchy. I think it's interesting because I don't think I expected them to go more cutesy as their kind of
Hmm.
trajectory. So that was kind of an
Yeah.
interesting choice, I think. I
Hmm.
think the production itself is really cool, though. I like
Hmm.
the kind of wiry electric sounds and the kind of metallic bounce aspect to it.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, balance with how sweet the vocals are. I think that is a
Mhm.
cool balance. And again, keeps it from being a super cutesy song, which, as we all know, I don't like cutesy songs. So this is like right at the tip for me. So thank
Yes.
you to Black Eyed Pilsung for that. But yeah, I agree. I like the piano in the bridge just to balance from the more metallic electric sounds that are throughout the rest
Hmm.
of the song. So I think overall, like you said, it's a good song. Do I go back and listen to it all the time? Not
No.
really. But it's on my list. I didn't delete it. But let's move on to the visuals. What did you think of the video?
I think it was cute. Like I like the whole not I don't want to say elementary school. That's not fair. But maybe like freshman year high school kind of graffiti-esque-ness of it, like the
Mm.
skater kind of girl thing. Um it fits them. I mean, and JJ with her, not JJ, and Jay with her pink hair, I thought that was super cute. But yeah, I mean, they have a teen crush concept or like a high teen concept or maybe mid-teen. So it wasn't really too cute, which
Mhm.
I appreciate. It still had a level of cool, and I think it's because they have members like Yoon, their leader, and I cannot remember this girl, Si Yoon, or is it Si Yoon? I think it's Si Yoon, the one who's a little bit more of like a visual type. Like she doesn't have a lot of lines, but when she sings or when she dances, like your eyes go to her. She has a oh my god, I'm so fans of Stacy, please help your girl out. But yeah, she has like a little bit more of like a she has Karina's face. Karina and her have very similar facial features.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh my god, our age is showing. Sorry, y'all. But she kind of gives she and Yoon have like this very mature look to their faces, where I thought they were older than what they really are. So they kind
Mm.
of give the group less of a cute vibe and more of like a cool girl kind of vibe. So I think they balance the cool girl with the cute girl very well in this group for sure. And again, because there's so little members, each one plays a part, and you're not just like, why is she there? So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the video was fine. Again, you know, I think the whole pastel pink and purple thing, that makes sense to me. Like that matches the
Yeah.
song. And I thought the set with the cardboard cutouts and how some of it is 3D, some of it's just 2D. Cool depth for sure throughout. I did enjoy that visually. But again, nothing that interesting for me.
Yeah.
I think I've only watched the video maybe 2 or 3 times total, and it's mainly because the last 2 times have been for this. So
At least it
yeah.
was a cohesive concept this time, right? So
Yes, fair. Yes.
goodness.
And then the choreo. So okay, so I think, and someone correct me if I'm wrong for the people who are like huge fans of STAYC, but I feel like their choreo might actually be simpler because they want to sing live potentially. Because
okay.
it's very clean and there are memorable little moments. You know, of course, that post-chorus moment with the
The
arms hitting
punching.
down.
Yeah.
And the musicality, again, is very good, but there's just nothing super complicated or anything about it. So it reminds me of, you know, we just did like the Girls Aloud 101 where they do not have any complicated dance routines and stuff, but then they were able to really actually just perform it and actually have some fun with it. So I'm thinking that's maybe why their kind of creative direction is like that. So I think it's effective as a performance, but is it anything super memorable? Like, is it something I'm gonna like be wowed by? Not really. But again, I appreciate that they sing live all the time, and I have watched a lot of their comeback performances and stuff. So I enjoy it, but it's nothing crazy amazing.
I beg to differ, only because, again, I was not into this song. And shout out to ILD, I Love Dance's Savannah and Lorena. I was doing like a video with them, like what, last year, or like, oh God, it's been so long, but it's been a while. But I did a video with them, and they were like filming a TikTok to this dance, and I see like these scissor hands. Like the aespa, the little scissors with the copy paste thing.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that's interesting. And the hands switch and they hit the shoulder and the body fist thing. I'm like, who made this? Because it's actually kind of cute. And I listened to the song and I was like, oh, it's this. Oh, it's ASAP. Oh my God, I've been trying to avoid the song. But yeah, the little wanjan kapi thing is cute. The scissors. And I found that a guy choreographed this. His name is Yujon, and he choreographed the hand Komani, the hands, the hair flips and everything like that. It's very girly, but there's also some swaggy moments and like some really nice body rolls and some nice little shoulder things because of him. I'm pretty sure he had some assistants, but he has been cited as one of the main choreographers for the dance. So I think moments like that with the ASAP, the scissors, and then the punching, those stand out to a lot of people, especially people who do covers. As for the verses, though, I can't tell you nothing else. And that could be because I was being lazy and didn't want to look at anything else for a while. But yeah, I agree with you. I could say, though, that they could maybe take their choreography to the next level, as our next contestant did. Oh, you like that?
Sure. All right. So next in the ring for round 2 is aespa with Next Level, done by Lee Soo-man, Yu Young-jin, Adam McInnes, Mario Marchetti, and Sophie Curtis. And of course, there's a sample of Next Level by Aston Wild. Aston? Yeah.
Yes.
So we actually did talk about this song in our SM remake / covers / samples episode. So definitely listen to that. So yeah, what did you think of Next Level?
I'm crying in the club. Okay, so because we did talk about the remakes and whatnot, I'm not gonna like rehash how I feel about it. I will talk about like the key changes in the song, which, oh my God, it really detaches from the coolness that the song had. Because I think that one of the best parts of the song is that bassy dun 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 dun. I think that's cool. I think that was quote unquote edgy, but still pretty. But things like random switches of the key and random jazz breakdowns and such, as beautiful as they are, take you away and make the song feel like incohesive. That's the word, incohesive. And on top of that, like I was trying to like, relate to the song where like maybe they're trying to go to the next level. Like each level is a different song, like how you play Mario and you go down like into a pipe and it's a different song. Vocally, they do sound really good. But I think this whole like Frankensteining of song has caused groups like Weekly to have songs like Venpada or like Purple Kiss to do MEM, and you have or NMix to do OO and Dive. And it just sets a precedent that I don't think is great for the sound of K-pop. These things take me out, throw me back in, and swallow me and spit me back out again. So
yeah, I mean, going back to our SM episode, we mentioned also "I Got a Boy," right? In another, that was a different episode, I think, right, where we talked about "I Got a Boy." But
no, same one.
Oh, that was the same one. Yes. Yeah. Go listen to that episode. But
yes.
But "I Got a Boy,"
Mm-hmm.
It is an example of what you just said, where it has all these different things, but it doesn't take you out completely. Maybe the first time you listen to it, you're still just kind of like, what is happening? But after a couple listens, it's kind of like, okay, once you kind of know what's happening, you get it. But this one, I will never understand this transition in the middle. Like you said, I love the bass synth and stuff in the first part of it. Very alien-like, fits this whole Kwangya-esque thing going on, and I appreciate that. And it honestly, all of that was strong enough to be its own song. This whole transition into this weird, sweeter, I don't even know how to describe it. Like I just don't get it. Like what the point of it was, especially because the song actually sounds pretty good. And I was like, that could also be its own song. Like this whole mashup did not need to happen. Like they could be two really good songs separately. And then because they mashed them together, now I don't like it. So I find that kind of weird. But also, you mentioned the whole like leveling up, right? If that was the concept, then the last chorus should have been something epic, or at least the outro or something could have been really more conclusive, or just more. I don't know. Like then the ending should have been more of the battle, like the final level or something. Because then you just transition weirdly back to the next level again, and it's like, what just happened?
Right. Yeah.
This song's not for me. But again, the video though, the video's great. Video's great. Love the spaceship. The graphics all look really good. Thank you, SM, for like making sure the graphics are good. I think only the volcano moment was kind of a little odd. But again, I appreciate that they're keeping to this Black Mamba and like the lore and everything. Again, if you're gonna go for it, you might as well just go full throttle to it, Again, though, the avatars are barely in them yet again. So please, someone explain to me what the point of them are. Please. What is the point?
Cash grab.
How is it a cash grab? Just to say that they have something AI involved.
Yeah, K-pop is looking at NFT. They're looking at meta. They're looking at, that's a whole other conversation all on its own. Dreamcatcher talking about a song, talking about Save the Planet, but have NFTs. But that's
let's not get political here.
It's not political. It's one of those things where I'm just like, that's what it is. It's a cash grab. It's like, how can we make fans invest more into this? And think about it. I mean, like, eventually you're gonna be able to create your own IMVU. Have you ever played IMVU?
The Taeyeon song?
No, IMVU.
No, I don't know
Instant
what that is.
mesh. Okay, so for people who don't know, IMVU is instant messenger virtual universe type of thing. But it should be interesting to see what they do if they actually keep the A or the I, whatever. Anyway, I think if you watch the stories that go along with it, like the epilogue to the Black Mama video, you could see where this was going. You could see that they're sync diving, which is them logging into the flat, which is where they're dancing before they go battle.
I appreciate you learning all this Kwangya lore, because I'm gonna be honest, I will not. Unless Shiny somehow end up having to do it in their next thing, this will not be a thing that I put in my brain.
Listen, it's the gamer in me. Like, I play a lot of gacha games where you have to like kind of summon your own character and whatnot. So again, I can appreciate the video game and like what it could mean for the future. This is part of their neo culture technology, but now they've abandoned that. But anyway, Again, cash grab, cash grab. Any hoodle doodle. I like the iridescent colors. I'm glad there's not any crazy snakes in this. But yeah, I think this is interesting because they look more sportier. They have the iridescent little tops and they match a little bit more. So they're ready for battle. They're not just like, we've been summoned. This is our level 1 character outfit. Now they're like fighters. So I appreciate that the story and the outfits are also kind of growing and going along with the concept as well. But you know how I feel about Kwangya. But again, the girls ate. I will say that. And when I
Oh
heard
yeah.
Ning Ning and that the Ning Ning and Winter sounded really good in that jazzy kind of situation. That's when I was like, oh my God, I hear Bada from SES. Ah! So again, and they looked great. I mean, Ning Ning, she's my bias. I ain't gonna hold you. She's my bias. But I have to say, like, I think the only thing I remember really from this video is the hand. Right?
Yep.
Like that's
The 90-degree elbow situation. Yes.
yes. So shout out to Bada Lee because out of 7 choreography teams that made up this damn dance, her next level hand gestures is the one that made the video. That stands out for sure, right?
Yes,
Like
I
mean,
love that. It's impossible to not do it when you hear this song.
yeah.
So it's very
Yeah.
fun. So yes, good job to Bada. And honestly, the rest of the choreo doesn't disappoint. Again, I mentioned I still enjoy watching aespa perform, even if I don't like the songs. Because they give it. Like the choreo is so good. And this one's super dynamic. There's a lot of ripples in it, and they're always super clean.
Yeah.
And I love the little moments when all 4 get to give different poses and different angles and things like that.
Right.
You know, it's smaller groups, so they really have to make it dynamic for those performances when they don't have dancers and stuff with them. And so they do a great job. So SM, they still have got that part of it down. The training is still perfect.
There.
Yeah.
I have to shout out that weird back dance for the novice calling. Dun, dun, dun. And it was a cute little booty shake from this one choreography group, but then it turned to this weird back twerk. So again, out of all 7, y'all decided that was going to be it. SM, they did not train in the basement, dungeon, attic, pits of hell, wherever the hell you got them from, just for you to sit there and download them, sync dive, and then have them back twerk. But yeah, when you have money, you can afford to have 7 different choreographers. Give you the best of the best.
Yeah. Well, speaking of diving, let's get to player 3.
Come on now. I see you. Up next, we have IVE with Love Dive, which is really cute. I like that their name is in there. By the way, did you know that IVE is a shortened version of like I have? I don't know if it's like I have talent. I don't know what it's.
So it's IVE without the apostrophe.
Yes. I thought there were 5 of them.
You know, I never even thought hard enough to even guess what that came from. Because, you know, most K-pop names don't mean anything. Anyway, this one was done by So Ji-eum, Sophia Brennan, Elle Campbell, and Nick Han. And I love this song. Yeah, first off, I think it's Yoojin who starts the song. Huskiness is so good. We need more huskiness in K-pop in general. It's usually my favorite vocal tones are the huskier ones for the girl groups, I think. So I really appreciate that. And production is so cool. Very ethereal, kind of sinister, and kind of creepy a little bit. And I don't know, it's so good. Like the hook is so simple, but it's so catchy. And I just like always want to listen to this. I still listen to this song also all the time. And I love listening to this with headphones because the production actually is really cool, especially that ping-pongy percussion that happens sometimes. And then vocally, again, I appreciate while they do, like we mentioned earlier, they do tend to sing in a cutesy tone, whether that's them or the vocal production choices.
Right.
But I appreciate that it's not done in the super pushy, nasally way. It's all done, like there's no like real belting in this song, right? It's all kind of very comfortable in their ranges and kind of how, and the volume and stuff and what they're singing, the way they're singing. So I really appreciate that. This is one of the best pop songs, I think, from this whole generation.
Jesus Christ. They're the new Sun Yoshida. This is
okay, I wouldn't go that far. Don't go that far yet.
Shide means generation. but maybe not girls'
Uh,
generation, but like, you know, shide generational. I don't know. My Korean's not that good. Anyway, you know, this is one of those songs where I sat there and I thought, interesting. Where is this gonna go? And where it went, I was not expecting. I'm like, dive, love dive, because the title. I think what people don't realize with K-pop is that they're always looking for a title that either people don't usually have or something that really stands out, right? Love dive. What the heck is a love dive? Obviously, the song's about love, but what are we diving into? Because usually diving turns into like this weird water euphemism that you don't want. Um, but for them, if you catch my drift,
I did not think
so
of that. Okay.
think about dive.
Okay,
You
sure.
know, like let's go for a sweet whatever. Anyway, in a lot of Western music, when you hear dive, it's something like kind of like not appropriate from what I've heard. But anyway, this song has clock ticks in it. That's why I was very confused as to where the song was going.
Mhm.
It's brassy as well. Um, which is another, huh? What? I don't understand why that's happening, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. This is another example of like taking sounds that wouldn't normally be put together and making them work. Like you said, the panning of
Mhm.
the little thingy thing. Okay, whatever that
Yeah.
sound is, but it's nice. I think this is I'm not gonna lie. I agreed with you, and I in my notes, I'm looking at them now. It says this is one of my favorite songs of the year. I think what really stands out is when you get to that ending. It's like, okay, not the ending, the bridge. It's like, where's it gonna go? Where could it go? And they whisper,
Mm.
"Excuse me." The song is very alluring. It's not like sexy, like oh my god, or just undulating. Just it's not that. I won't go so far to say that because A, they're young, and B, that's not what it gave me completely because it does sound very dissonant with the woo.
Mhm.
Um, it's mysterious, and I don't know what their concept is per se right now. Because I get like cool girls in high school. I get like chic girls, even with some of their B-sides, but I'm not sure what to call their concept. They're not dark academia. They're not girl crush. There's they're different for sure.
Mhm.
And again, that whisper bridge was like great. And at the end with the brass, ooh, la 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 la. A perfect sacrifice. I don't know what the sacrifice is, but
Yeah. So I mean, I think at least for this song, I was getting like mean girls who are also witches, kind of. That was kind
yeah,
of what I was thinking. Like they're the mean
yeah.
girl clique, and
I'm
if you do something
crying.
bad to them, like they could curse
Mm.
you. That's
Oh,
kind
maybe
of what I
dark
get.
fairies?
Um, fairy? I don't
Dark
know if fairy
fairies?
is the right word.
Dark
Um,
dark nymphs? Nymphs is not it
oh,
either. We'll figure it out.
sirens,
Nymphs?
maybe?
Siren? Yeah, okay. I
Yeah.
like the siren thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
really enjoyed the video, like I mentioned. I didn't
hmm
need the flying car visuals. I thought the CGI was a bit odd and distracting because I thought the whole mansion and that kind of
Yeah,
whole idea was good enough. Like they didn't need all of that. So,
right.
and even all the effects, like the arrows flying around, like there was just like a
Yes.
lot of extra CGI. It's almost like they like had a too big a budget for CGI and they were like, well, just keep adding more because you have more hours left, so just keep doing it.
I'm crying.
But
Stop.
again, I enjoyed it. I think they're good on camera for sure. They are all
hmm
very aware of how they
hmm
are. So
Yeah,
even in all the dance sequences when they're not in the front, they're still given face, which I
yeah.
appreciate.
I agree. I think, like you said, they serve face, and again, the bridge was one of my favorite parts because of how white and dark and silvery it looked. It was just from all the pink that we were getting, it was like stark contrast, and also made them look a little cool because the way they were dressed was like tomboy esque. And if I'm not mistaken, that choreography was actually changed because it was a little too oomph on the floor. And
Oh yeah,
again,
the
one of the
floor choreo
members
was questionable.
yeah, I
Yeah.
learned some of it actually. It's a little not difficult, but it is very like it's very dance. I don't know how do you say dancing with. It's like very kitty. It's very like smitten kitten kind of like it's
Mm.
threading with the legs and stuff like that and taps on the body and to have a 14, 15, 16-year-old kind of doing it on the floor, you could see that they put the girls in the back,
Oof. Yeah.
for things like that. So I appreciate that. Um, dance wise, this choreography isn't as difficult as 11, though. I will say that it's a lot of motions, but it isn't as difficult. When I was learning 11, I was like, what? That's in this dance? With
Mm,
this one, I was more like, oh, there's arms, there's a sway. I mean, it wasn't too difficult. And I like that they kind of they had a little bit of like um not jazz funk, like performance based hip hop, and then like some kind of hip hop motions in it.
yeah.
But like, with 11 there was a head thing and none of that was in this dance, thank goodness. It's just some hip
Hmm.
sways and some peeking and some hand things. I think La Chica did this, who works with Chungha, and Free Mind did this. So it was a good combination of very femme, but also like crazy musicality, hard hitting hip hop with like sexy
Hmm.
hip hop too. So it's a good match for sure. Good little blend for sure.
Yeah. I was interesting kind of watching how they use a lot of hands in this
Yeah.
choreo, a lot of hands and arms. And the
Mhm.
hands have to stay very delicate throughout it. So I think the difficulty in this one is probably the cleaning of it, because I think it's the
Yeah.
placement of the hands and the fingers,
Yes.
basically for the whole
Yes.
thing, that they kind of have to make sure is consistent across the group. I found that quite impressive, because cleaning is
Mhm.
actually the most annoying part of dancing in a team.
Oh my god.
For
Yes.
sure. And that's when we say cleaning, we mean like trying to make everyone look together and the same.
Uniform,
So that's a
yes.
lot of angles and kind of placements and things like that. So
Yes.
yeah, again, I think the choreo was catchy and effective. I
Mhm.
think the fact that they're good performers helps carry it.
Yeah.
But I much prefer the choreo to 11, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. So that ends round 2. So who wins for you?
I'm gonna give it to IVE again because I think this song was definitely one of my favorites for the year. Like out of all the songs I go back to, this is one of the songs that
Yes.
I definitely, I kind of revisit
Yes.
for sure.
I completely agree. I have to give this to Love Dive. It's so good.
Final round.
We're going to discuss the third title track of each group, and first in the ring is STAYC with Stereotype, produced and written by Black Eyed Pilsung and Jun Gun.
Mhm.
Dun-dun-dun. The Stereotype. What were your thoughts when you heard this song?
Yeah. So again, they're going even more sweet. So it's
Mhm.
interesting. They're kind of doing the
I-
opposite of what a lot of girl groups do. I think if another group sang this in the very kind of stereotypical, kind of nasally thing, this could be a very annoying song. But
Right.
we've mentioned this every time already with STAYC. Thank the Lord for those huskier, deeper, thicker tones, because that
Yeah.
helps balance it all out a little better. Because I actually do think the chorus has a great melody. There's something very
Mhm.
nostalgic about it. I can't think of like a particular group or anything that it reminds me of, but it just feels nostalgic in some way. And I like how kind of light
Mhm.
and bouncy all the production is. So
Yes.
yeah, I think again, I like it because of the way they executed it. I don't know if I would like it if someone else sang it. But I think reading the lyrics are kind of interesting. I kind of like the concept of I'm confident in myself and I like to look pretty, but don't let my outside appearance fool you, because I actually am quite innocent.
Yeah.
That's just an interesting concept. It's not just the typical I like you kind of thing that most
Yeah.
K-pop is. So
Yeah.
yeah, I enjoyed reading the translation of this. I had no idea what it was about. So
Right off the bat, I liked it lyrically. Because I wanted to know what stereotype. What did you mean by that, right? Because they don't say it at all, like in English. And I think this is one of the first, like not fully, like majority, whatever, a song that's a majority of it is in Korean. Wow. How did that taste? That was a struggle. But yeah, I think this is one of those songs that were like, oh, all the words are in Korean. Oh my God. Except the baby, baby, baby and the I'm a good girl part. I was like, oh God, oh God. And I think that says a lot about the melody of the song, because I can sing it back to you now, in full Korean. I even made like a little TikTok reel to it because I like the song so much. And I think it's interesting to have this kind of song and rhetoric from a girl group this young, right? So Black Eyed Pilsung did not make this girl group to be like, hey, we're gonna make them like the hottest thing and be super sexy and all this other awkward stuff for like 15 and up girls. Don't just look at me on the outside and think that that's all that I am. And even their B-side called Slow Down on the same album also just reiterates the concept of treat me like a lady. I'm a
Mhm.
young girl. We don't have to go too fast. Let's figure out what this love is. And I know I come across as this dazzling thing, but don't hold me too tightly. Don't suffocate who I am. Let me be this kind of thing. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. I like the flute in the song for sure, for sure. I think again it goes right back to Twice for me because I think of like Ua. They had a flute in their song, and Black Eyed Pills song did do their first song.
Mhm.
Again, it doesn't sound like a derivative. It's just one of those notes where you're like, oh wow, Black Eyed Pills song did this. Ah, yeah, that makes sense. That flute's there. I read somewhere that Stereotype was given to STAYC before their debut, and they were kind of were going to use that as like their first single, I think. So it's interesting that they went with So Bad instead. I think that was a better
Mm.
choice. I think it was something that they wanted to show the fans, which is really sweet. But I think So Bad was definitely the better choice. The chorus is a nice mix of hip hop and that percolation, like percolating percussion. And the trap beats in the post chorus hook is kind of like, again, it makes it a little bit cooler. Hip hop just does that. Just saying. But it wasn't like too cheesy where it was like, oh God, why is this trap beat in here? So I appreciated it. I will say the video, although the lyrical concept wasn't typical, the video was super typical. You know, schoolgirls, we're dancing in the field. Ooh. So how did you feel about that video?
Okay, so first off, I don't know how old these members are, but some of them look a little. I don't know if it's just the makeup and stuff, but some of them look too old to be like in middle school or whatever this is supposed to be, high
I'm
school. So I
crying.
was just like, I'm just curious how long they're gonna keep this kind of school image going because I already feel like they're kind of
Mm.
growing out of it a little bit. So that's interesting.
They're young. They're young.
Again, just with all these videos, like there are some interesting moments, but there's nothing really in it that is that interesting that makes me want to watch it again and again. And I thought the giant bunny at the end was odd. I don't know. This I'm not taken by this video.
I'm not taken. I wasn't swept off my feet by this.
I was not. I was not.
You know what? I don't blame you, and I can't say that I think of this video when I think of the song. But the schoolgirl concept again is tried and true girl group, and they are young, so let's put them in school. I think what sets it apart is that the girls have their own image of what's really beautiful and like pretty. Um, like they're all trying on different clothing or in the bridge where the song kind of breaks down, there's like one of the girls are on a podium kind of making an announcement, so she comes across as like, even though she's like the valedictorian or the the prom queen, she's still a very sweet innocent girl. And um I think the bunny is supposed to represent that innocence, right? And then maybe they do like a little odd eye. It's odd eye is a very Korean concept, but like the odd eye that's like one different color, like maybe the
Mm.
iris will be a different color. But if you think like red light with FX, they had smoky eye one eye, and then the other eye was completely makeup free. In this video, it had one makeup free eye, and then the other one was like graphic liner, which ties in that Gen Z graphic liner concept, but also has that juxtaposition of them being this dynamic, dazzling girl, but also being super simple. So
Mm.
things like that were little things to pick up on. But you didn't have to. You know me, tin hat over here. But yes, the odd eye thing is very typical for girl groups, but I like the way they switched it up with the eyeliner, and the bunny was the innocent thing. But aside from that, I can't say that this video really stood out for me. And even the choreography, I have to say, wasn't like, wow.
Mhm.
Wow. But I do understand what they were doing, because if you read the lyrics or if you understand what they're saying, it's very literal. They're like, take off your tinted glasses. The choreography is going for glasses and hair flips. Like, yes, I'm a very mysterious, amazing woman, but I'm a good girl. So the choreography reflects that.
Mhm.
And the baby, that's very literal again, but it's meant so that maybe if it's very, like you said, it's very easy to learn so they can perform it. And if
Yeah.
fans like us who don't speak Korean need to learn this dance and understand what's being said, oh, glasses? Why are they doing glasses? Oh, hands? So maybe that's what it was. I
Mm.
mean, it's cute, it's simple, but it's not like, wow.
Yeah.
It
I
stood
will
out.
say the best parts in it are the little pictures in it. Like, there's a lot of dynamics that they use just between
Hmm.
the six of them. Like, there's little windows at the beginning. They step
Yes.
over each other. There's an interaction between the members. So I appreciated all of those little moments kind of more than the actual choreo itself, probably. I actually don't think I could do any choreo back to you right now. Like, is the baby, 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 like arm swinging the point choreo then?
No,
That,
it's the saying.
oh, yeah.
다른 여자이지? Okay.
I mean, that can't all be the point choreo though. You can't say the whole
No.
chorus is the point choreo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're right. Oh, I think it's the glasses. Don't look at me with tinted glass. Because even at the end, baby, 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 ah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so things like that.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Moving on to player 2. We have aespa with Savage, done by Yu Young Jin, Gia Lee, Kirsten Collins, and Hot Boy Rich. So, what do you think of Savage?
I'm crying. I will say that Don't You Know I'm a Savage was just very ABG and I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not like that at all. And seeing who wrote it was a young blonde girl. She can write a song, but I can see if the vocal tone was like this, Cali girl, it just wasn't translated. No offense, Winter. I like the clunky sound though. That aside, once we get past all that little,
Yeah.
boba baby stuff, honey, I like the clunky thing. Ding, 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 ding. I don't know. Something about that percussion is so cool. And then Karina,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
with her little like slight fry, but not so much where it's like, oh God, stop. I think the vocals and the raps are cool for sure. She, Karina and Giselle really delivered. In that sense. Again, Karina's a great lead to have set the tone in the song because she's not so like. Unfortunately, Giselle gets the raps that sound very Yoonho from TVXQ, like the old, like if you're an old SM stan, like, you know how aggressive those TVXQ raps were, and even Super Junior-esque raps. But again, Giselle delivers it really well. And I think that what saves the song from being super cringy with the Savage thing, because the Savage thing is played out in K-pop, I'm over it, is the fact that they're relating it to the Black Mamba. Like they're being savage toward Black Mamba.
Yes.
I mean, if you're an English speaker and you're hearing this, you might be like, this feels a little disingenuous. But if you listen to the lyrics, or if you read the lyrics rather, and you're like, oh, they're gonna take this chick out. They're tired of her crap. She's hacking things. She's messing up Kwangya. She's putting Novice's life in danger. Sorry.
Good for you for learning all this, because I'm going to be honest, I won't, like I said.
I'm reaching, like my back's itching right now. But again, I appreciate that they're talking about that and not talking about catching bodies, Pink Venom. But again, I think as American listeners, it could come across as cringe because it's like savage, really. But again, the song feels like SES and TVXQ had a baby. The raps are loud and rapid fire, and then you have Bada-esque Ning Ning vocals and Winter vocals with the vocal slide and the key changes. I think there's like 3 or 4 key changes in the song. Shout out to React to the K and Umu for catching all the key changes and also interviewing the producers.
Mhm.
That 4th one with the jazz kind of thing was Yu Young Jin, and they said who added it? Umu said who added it, and everyone was like, Yu Young Jin did. So if y'all are wondering why all these random things are happening, Yu Young Jin. He's so talented. But again, that bridge where Novice is calling, they are so tethered to that concept of Novice calling. I was so upset. The Novice we love you. My bad, not Novice calling. The Novice we love you. That Novice is calling is next level. But my Novice, we love you. I hated that with a passion. And then the key change of the dubstep. Ooh, I like the dubstep, but it was a key change. And then the vocal slide to the last one was another. It's again, it could make you feel a little overwhelmed, but it's not a terrible song. I like it, and I think something that people probably wouldn't notice is that there's a vocoder vocal in the pre-hook, and it goes savage. It's so I don't. It just adds to the song as the pre-hook is building. I'm a savage. The pre-hook is probably my favorite. That's probably what does it for me. And yeah, but what about you? Because I can go on and on about this. 'Cause I don't hate it actually. Like I know I'm going in and nitpicking, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, I guess if I actually had to choose, this is probably my favorite aespa song so far. Because, like I said, I'm not a big fan of them, but this is the one I would probably choose if someone told me to choose one. I like the production. I think that, like you said, that kind of like 2000s kind of intense hip hop beat thing they have going on is cool. I think it's awesome, and I like the way it's written with that. I do actually wish vocally in this case though that they were a little more. I don't know what the right word is. I don't know if it's soulful or just a little like harder maybe, because I think you kind of have to do the two extremes. Either you do, when you say I'm a savage, it's literally has to be more aggressive, or it should be I'm a savage, like I'm not even gonna put any effort into, you don't even want to even see what would happen if I put an inkling of effort in, you know. And the way they do it vocally kind of falls in the middle of that, so then it ends up kind of falling a little flat sometimes. And so I don't love that. And I don't know if that's that could be a vocal production thing too. I don't know. But yeah, the hook is not my favorite. Again, catchy, but it's just kind of like meh. I actually do like the sweeter bridge in this case. I don't mind the Navis, we love you. I don't actually mind that. I don't actually mind that in this one. Like, again, though, I wish that was a full song. Like, I think that whole section could have been a full song because it's good.
Yeah.
But again, that transition, like you said, that high note slide, that's odd.
Yeah.
And then the ad-libs are where it's really like, they're very high. Like, they're very high. Very technically difficult to do, but there's just no feeling in there. And especially then when they perform it, it's just like no facial expression as she's doing these notes that are like not
in the stratosphere.
It's just bizarre. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, because making it look that effortless is just like a little odd. But yeah, so visually though, what do you think of the video?
I like this video. I think there's moments where I'm like, okay, this is just tying back into the whole storyline. But little things that stood out to me were like the performance scenes. I love the camera work. The camera work was what really kind of like, got me. So shout out to people who covered this dance and looked at the camera work layout that SM had put up and uploaded, because it's a lot, but it just adds to the coolness of the choreography. Things that stand out was like Karina with her red eye. I love that. And I think I like how pretty it gets during the bridge part. Like the video gets really pretty. Like, it definitely fits with the video. I do not appreciate how, as the videos have progressed, their facial expressions have become less and less involved. Like Winter, for example. Honey, we're going to talk about a little bit later with the dance choreography. I wish she didn't look so like Android-ish, where it's almost like too perfect. And I'm like, girl, if you just gave me a little nose scrunch right now, like you did in, like how Giselle did in Black Mamba, how you did when you first, like, it was certain things like that just weren't connecting. But like Giselle, Karina, I guess because they're rapping, they put a little bit more emphasis in their faces. That's why I kind of remember their scenes a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, this video is, I'm just really stuck on the camera work, and so I think that's what adds to the video for sure.
Yeah. So I agree that the cyber thing is cool. Again, the graphics are good. I appreciate that the avatars have a bit more prominence in this one, at least. I still don't fully get the point, but at least they dance in this. It looks a little stiff, but they're doing
I'm
it.
crying.
So that's more than they were doing in the other ones.
Yeah.
I do not understand the cartoon that happens in the middle of it. Found that very bizarre. I did watch the video a couple times just trying to like piece the story together without reading. Because honestly, I know people have been like, you should just read all the theories and stuff. I shouldn't need to read all the theories. You know what I mean? They shouldn't. Like, there's a difference between putting little references in things for the fans, right? That's separate from making something just make sense to a normal person that's not a huge fan. Like, you shouldn't need to be this person that is like analyzing it frame by frame to understand a story when it's like a lore like this. You know what I mean? So
it was pretty,
I don't really appreciate that, but I like the contrast between like the pink scenes and the darker scenes. So it was still really interesting visually. They have not disappointed with the music video at all. And the choreo as well. I also really like the choreo. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it was really nice, but you know, again, I think the animated scene, like I said, it's super pretty when the bridge comes in, super pretty. They just couldn't afford to animate Novice. That's what I'm getting from it. They took all their money and put it in that epilogue or prologue, whatever these little cutscenes are that are uploaded. Performance wise, I think if I'm not mistaken, Just Jerk did the choreography and Bailey Suck. Bailey actually smoothed that Kimi Kimi now that part, that Kimi Kimi na part. She smoothed it out. Like she kind of did like a cute little whine with her waist. They sharpened it up, which I kind of appreciate a little bit more because it just fits the robotic digitalness of their whole concept. Just Jerk ate it up because those pops in the beginning, those, I mean, watching a dance team do it, you can obviously see like, holy crap, this is tough. But again, shout out to Winter. If she would have just gave me the face, her pops are nasty. They're like little internal pops. She'll hit the beats the way the girls in Just Jerk do. The other ones, like Giselle and Ning Ning, kind of fall a little bit by the wayside. They're not terrible, but little intricate pops are coming like just from your core. Those were tough to hit. And you can see Karina with her foot twists and the, you know, the killer and I get those parts like that and they snatch back. Those are really important because it's such subtle movements. And if you don't catch it, people who dance will notice it. People who don't dance can notice it, but maybe not as quickly. But those of us who do dance, you're like, wait, why is she not hitting it as hard? Or why is it not as, you know, clean? Like, yeah, it's sharp, but is she executing it as well as a Winter or, and by she, I mean like either Giselle or Ning Ning. Are they doing it as good as Winter and Karina? No. But it doesn't mean that they're bad. It's just, I mean, you're dealing with people who just maybe naturally have a better ability at popping. I think that the again, I'm going back to the facials. I think they have like this very pretty like Barbie doll thing going on, and it doesn't fit how gritty the dance can get. I do like the little dubstep choreography with the handography. Karina does do a really good job with that. But yeah, I think they did a good job recreating the movements. The savage hand thing is cool. The little finger thing is cool.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this dance, like footwork wise, which is nice. This one has a lot more hip hop influence than it did like poses and pictures. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, this choreo is good. I appreciate how hard hitting it is. We mentioned that the way SM tends to do their execution, they don't do it as sharp as they could, but it does its job, I think. And you know, the little squat thing, you know, like all of that's like easy enough for a person who isn't a big dancer to learn, so they have some parts to grasp onto. So yeah, I think overall it was well planned. Going back to what you said earlier about their facials, I agree. I don't understand. I feel like they need like Tyra Banks or someone to come and just help them learn how to like surmise and stuff a little better, because I feel like that's what they're supposed to be going for. Like it's supposed to be this like fierce robot thing, but unfortunately the fierce part of it is still not fully there, so then it ends up being just like a soulless droid, you know? So that makes it not as fun to watch. Like I like watching the zoomed out versions more than the zoomed in ones, because the facials are just like not fully there. And I get that the whole point is that they're not fully human or whatever, but that doesn't, I don't know, but you can't perform that way. Like it's just not dynamic, and it's not great. The dance break choreo though, really, really cool. I
Yeah.
love watching that. So yeah, I think it has some good moments, but yeah, I don't. There's something with the execution that will be interesting to see how they adapt as they get older and just more experienced.
All right, player three, we have IVE with After Like, done by Ryan June, Anders Nielsen, So Ji-yoon, Andre Jensen, Islin, Mami San, and Ray of IVE, which features, and it also features a sample of I Will Survive by the timeless, the goddess of disco herself, Gloria Gaynor.
Yes.
You know, what? I hate to be like that person. Like, you can't go wrong with the I Will Survive strings. I mean, you can't really go wrong. Like, it's very hard to mess it up. And if you do,
It is.
pressure.
Yeah, I think I said the first time I heard it, I was like, okay, like, would this song, like, is it relying too much on that sample? Because that sample automatically makes it good, But having now listened to it quite a few times, I really do like the song. Because the first part of the chorus, the you-hoo and like, that is really good already, So it's really just, the whole thing is just elevated by the iconic I Will Survive strings. Yeah, I love the song. I'm very on brand. Obviously, I love disco-tinged stuff, so this was right up my alley. And again, I think going back to what I said earlier about their vocals, again, they're quite relaxed. So despite such an energetic dance beat, they're not pushing that hard. And I Will Survive has this melancholic undertone to it. Like, it is, if you read the lyrics of I Will Survive, it's actually quite like, empowering. And this person has gone through, something bad. They're not in a good place in their life. And so I think that undertone then kind of adds an interesting depth to the song because their IVE is just a more innocent sounding group. But again, they had that kind of sinister thing going on with the last single. So they have that underlying darkness. So it's just interesting. I think it's cool. And I like the question of what's after like it's kind of weird, I think, grammatically, right, English wise, but it's interesting, like, what's after like, obviously it's love, right? And there's this hesitancy, there's a fear that comes with that question, and you can feel that with the way the whole song is produced, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think the lyrics actually kind of just go into that too, where it's like, I might like you, I might not, I'm not really sure. It's a very avoidant attachment style, like a chaotic attachment. It's like, where I really like you, but don't like me too much, but I like you. But what's after like? It's so interesting how the lyrics go.
I really like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that little miltong, like the miltong is like in Korean is like push and pull. It literally has this very like back and forth kind of thing, and it doesn't sound like that, like vocally speaking. Like the delivery is like da 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 da. It doesn't sound like panicked. It doesn't sound nervous. It sounds confident in the verses, and it sounds playful in the chorus. But then you look at the lyrics, it's like, oh, she's not really serious. But she's like, if we do get serious, what comes after? I'm not. It's like almost indecisive in a sense. But I do enjoy the lyrics. And I think one thing about them is that they've already kind of they've developed their sound now, right? Their lead single is always going to have the half chorus. And then the second chorus comes in and it has the full thing. And I get it. That's the dynamic. I totally get it. I will say for this one though, I guess to introduce the performance aspect, which we'll get into a little bit later, they made it a half chorus and let the strings play out as opposed to cutting it after what's after like you. After that whole part, they usually kind of stop, right? And then go to the second verse. With this one, they let the strings play. And I thought, okay. Second chorus, we get the rap, which I enjoyed. I thought that was a nice post chorus to have, but then at the end, it's gone again. And I feel like maybe they should have just gone for singing over or rapping over post chorus for both, or just doing the half chorus thing again, because we've heard the strings a lot. And for me, I was just like, that's what you did with it? That's what you did with it. Okay, I wasn't disappointed, but I was just like, when the rap came in, I felt galvanized. Because again, I Will Survive has been used time and time again. It's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about covering it in diamonds, platinum, gold, what may have you, whatever.
Yeah, but can you? I must have be very difficult to write a melodic hook over the "I Will Survive."
That's why the rap was
strings.
good.
Right, but I feel like it's
I
like
mean,
what then after that it's like they're just like, you know what, it's so iconic, let's just let it play. You know what I mean?
but that's my thing. It's just maybe because I listen to a lot of like hip hop and R&B. They you know it's samples. There's a way to flip the
Oh yeah.
sample. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it wasn't flipped enough if they were gonna flip it, and maybe they just it was like one of those earwormy things. You know what this is? It's going to be good. I just feel like it wasn't bad, but when the rap finally came in, I remember being like, "Oh my god, yes, there we go. I like the rap, especially after the sing-songy chorus." Doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't mean like they like relied on it, but I just feel like be risky because the song is good. That being said about the song, I think this video was the one where I really just didn't get it. I mean, if I were to put a word on it, I guess they were just actresses. I guess their concept is like dark princess or like dark. It's something dark or
Mhm.
something. I don't know. Maybe it's like the Winx Club, the Netflix version. I don't know. But you know, it's supposed to be like pretty fairies, but it's all dark and gloomy. I don't know. But yeah, I think in the video they looked really good. Nothing about it was like strictly about what the lyrics were about, like with the previous videos where you can kind of feel, oh, this is about love, this is about being a narcissist cool girl, or this is about like Middle Eastern agrabah sounding music. It is just very much cute girls looking super duper awesome in their different scenes, almost like they were filming a movie. But I mean, if you think about it, if you really want to get deep, here we go. Tin hat. If you think about how movies kind of play out, the rom-coms, they kiss. But what's after the kiss? So maybe this film set kind of concept was what it was. Like what happens after the movie's over? What happens after happily ever after? What is ever after?
I appreciate that because
You know?
my thought was they were just like, it's disco, that means colors. You each get a color.
You each get a color. Yes, and it
Um,
comes together at the end.
yeah, that's honestly all I thought. Honestly, that movie thing is a great idea. I hope
Thank
that
you.
is what they were going for, but I'm gonna
Wow.
guess that they didn't think that deeply about it.
I don't think so.
However, I did enjoy the different colored rooms because up until this point, I can only tell you I only recognized two of them, and now I can actually point them all out. So the different colored rooms have helped a lot, I think, with that. So that I don't know if that was the point, but that helped me. And I
Yes.
like the rainbow lighting. Obviously, it's disco, which is very
Mhm.
queer.
Yes.
Rainbows are, for queer people.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I know
I'm
it's
crying.
not always in Korea, but you know what? Globally, everyone knows. Come on now. So yeah,
Right.
I do think the fireworks were a little excessive at the end because there was a lot of fireworks.
Oh my god.
It was a little cheesy.
Yes.
I get it. But it was just a lot.
The sparks
Again,
fly.
their CGI budget's just too high. They do not need
Yeah.
this many effects in their videos.
You know, speaking of the different color rooms, it gave very like early 2000s, so I appreciate that. Um, but also I like that the rooms that they were dancing, like the performances were like all white or like black and white. So getting right into the choreography, these girls are never not on the floor. Can I just say that these girls are always on the floor?
That's going to be tougher to do as they get older.
Eugene has been on the knees. All the Lisa's on on the floor on the knees. It's a lot. I love the pictures and their choreography and the canon. I think it's all because of Free Mind. Like they understand that it's a very small group, so they have to make it dynamic, which I appreciate. I think what really stands out, of course, we love the whacking moment because we love a good I have to say, K-pop has really been ahead of the curve with the whacking, voguing,
Oh yeah.
cutting. They've been killing it. Y'all been killing it. I appreciate it. Honey, my favorite part is the love, the what's after like the heart stabby thing. I don't know what that is, but it's so cute. What's after stab? I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know what it means because I feel like Free Mind or whoever choreographer that they're using has been very conceptual and very like particular and like purposeful. So whatever that means, if you know what it is, leave it in the comments. But I love that. I think it's really cute. They look good. Choreography is starting to be less complicated, which is nice. So it's a lot more da 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 da. Posing, dancing a little bit more. It's a lot more like, hey, we can actually sing this and not like die as we're doing the choreography, which is nice.
Yeah. I
But
haven't actually
yeah, what do
heard
you
them
think?
sing it live though. Have they performed it? Have they sung it live on anything?
No, but you know how they do like they're dying. You know, a lot of girl groups look like they're dying as they're trying to smile and lip sync. They don't look like this in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate that now. I mean, One Young is still kind of being pointed out as like the main girl. Like I was trying to figure out how they're gonna make her stand out, and the fact that everyone else is wearing dresses while she's in skirt. I mean, everyone's in dresses while she's in the pants. Always crack me up. Always crack me up. But yeah. Anyway, I love that they're all on the floor dancing while her butt is wearing pants, never on the floor, crawling and stuff. To say never is not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. But again, when they're wearing dresses, I just think that's when it's a little like, come on, don't do that to them. But execution wise, I enjoyed it. It was very pretty. What about you?
I really like this choreo. It's super sharp, definitely more sharp, I think, than the other two groups that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just good girl group choreo. It's feminine, it's sassy, it's pretty at times, hard hitting in others, and the musicality is great. So, yeah, definitely doesn't disappoint in that way. I think I had mentioned in the past two rounds that IVE are great on camera. And it's now at this point that we're 3 songs in. Now the facials actually seem a little over-rehearsed because I really liked this song, so I watched pretty much every music show performance that they did for it. And I tell you, every single wink, every single smirk, every single smile, identical in every single performance. Everything is fully planned. Nothing is spontaneous. Nothing is authentic. You know, it really feels overly rehearsed. And I get that with these music shows, there's a lot of pressure. You have to look for the red light. You know, you got to see which camera's on you. You got to be fully aware. Now we have those fan cams, right? So people can just watch you for the whole song. So they're very aware of that.
Yes.
But then when you get to the point of this, so now this is the opposite of maybe aespa, right? Where aespa was like kind of cold, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now IVE is overperforming to the point where every single wink, everything is so planned that now, and it's again, now feels robotic. It's the other side of the spectrum, right? So I was a little disappointed by that, actually, because I think that works on camera, obviously, for music videos and for these types of things. And I just hope that they're a little more organic in front of an audience, because that takes some of the fun out of it if the smiles aren't real.
Yeah, I agree with you. It becomes a little unnatural and almost feels like you're being force-fed just sweets and good candy. And it's like, okay, it was good the first time I had it, and the second time it was, okay, give me something else.
This ends the round. So, for me, I think as a song, I do have to give it to IVE after, like, how about you?
I'll give it to aespa. I will. Shoot.
Nice.
I'll give it to them. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so let's do an overall winner. So the group that has the best first 3 title tracks, and then let's also do maybe like the ultimate song of these 9 that we've listened to today.
IVE overall, I think I think they deserve it because their concept is not really complicated. Not a lot of hands are in the pot, but they still manage to have dope songs, a dope sound, and a concept that I can't fully put a word to, but I know what it is when I hear them.
Out of these 3, I would say as groups, I actually like STAYC the most.
STAYC, okay, as groups, yeah.
But just based on the songs, I'd say IVE is probably the best. Yeah.
This one was tough. Like, I feel like with our other past episodes, we were like, yeah, this is what it is. This is what it is. Like, I usually kind of, you know, I'll say like pick around, like jokingly, but this one was really tough. I've changed my mind like a couple times.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then out of these, if I had to choose one song out of these to be like, okay, this is like what a great 4th gen girl group song is for K-pop, what would I recommend? I would do Love Dive by IVE. Yeah. How about you? And probably followed by Savage, honestly. Probably followed by Savage. Yes, because as much as I love So Bad, that's not one that I would use as a way to like introduce anyone or anything.
I will say it's 11 is my favorite one out of all of them. 11 is my favorite. Yeah, I think it's a solid debut for sure. Out of all of them, hell yeah, best debut.
Awesome. All right, well, that concludes this pop-off.
You win.
Let us know in the comments what you think wins this pop-off, which group, which song, let us know. And if you'd like a part 2, we're totally ready for it. Some of them have already released more title tracks. We're waiting on IVE to
Yeah.
catch up a little bit, but once they all do, we'll do another round maybe. So yeah, you can message us at CCTV Pops on all social media. You can also join us on Patreon. Please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell if you're watching on YouTube. Or for our listeners, please give us a rating and review on your podcast platform of choice. Until next time, that's Jan.
That's Chris.
And we are CCTV.